Thanks, welcome back everybody. Now we come to the nitty-gritty part of this game. Ronnie O'Sullivan perhaps fortunate to be 3-1 in front, should have been tall. Apart from Mark Selby misjudging the scoreboard. Has to win this frame for me to have any chance in this match. Another poor break-off. He broke off poor in the opening frame, cost him 71. How many will it cost him this time?
Not quite sure if you can pot this red and swing around the reds on the black. You may be just dropping it in. Could screw across and play for the black in the same pocket. No. Oh. I was going to say that obviously with that long pot, Mark was well aware that if he missed it, he was going to leave something on, and that in its own way just puts a little bit of doubt in your mind. In this game, if your mind's not clear, when you go to strike the cue ball, you're in trouble.
Eight. 9.
Whatever cannon he gets on the pack now is bound to be on 2 reds, so he'll play he might play it a little bit firm this one, just to make sure he brings a couple of more reds into play, but I thought he might have played it slightly firmer than that. Only because he was bound to be on choice of reds.
16.
If it's the middle red rather than half ball the middle red, he would have opened them better, but obviously still perfect.
17. 24. 25.
Brought another 4 reds into
32.
play with 1 shot.
It's amazing, Terry, how many times in a season you see Ronnie O'Sullivan having a chance of a 147, because he just sees the way of opening the balls. And I keep mentioning commentary, some of the other players just don't visualise the picture, you know, when you've got to bring balls into play. He never misses a trick.
Stephen Hendry won too bad. Oh, John Higgins.
40. Yeah, I was talking about the current players.
41.
That lovely shot in. Made it look very easy.
Took a risky shot in frame 3 when he was on 57 trying to get onto the black, or
48.
he actually got on the black and then missed it, but surely this time he's not going to try and get on the black. He'll just make sure of the frame by taking the blue.
49. $54.
You would expect the standard
55.
of play to increase at this stage of the event. The players are in the 2-table situation here. Big crowds, and they've had a bit of match play as they go through to this stage. It's, but I must say the 2 matches so far, or this one on the first match, I mean, it's very, very high standards.
63. 68.
This blue to put the frame beyond any doubt, and now that he's 4-1 in front, we're going to have to really see Selby grind. And Selby's one of the few players
74.
that can win from 4-1 behind. There's plenty that couldn't. I mean, this certainly isn't a 4-1 game the way the match has gone. Selby's had breaks of 71 and 63.
75.
He might carry on if he doesn't pot this black, just to try and get Ronnie out of his rhythm. He's looking
Ronnie
at the referee and nodding, so that break of 75 has taken Ronnie O'Sullivan one away from victory. He now leads by 4 frames to 1. And Terry, we look at the opening red there. In the first frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan broke off very poorly and left a break of 71. In that frame, he broke off very poorly, but there's a bit of difference with this red.
Yes, the difference being that Mark Selby was aware that if he missed this red, because he was playing for the black, he was going to leave O'Sullivan in. Supposed to have a little bit of doubt in his mind. Almost fluked it in the middle. It wasn't to be. Don't think he got another chance.
Yeah, Selby obviously would still, as I mentioned many times in commentary, and I'm sure you're sick of hearing it, but I've never seen Selby make a mistake in counting in his career. He just went through that spell where he just thought he'd won the game without the black. And it wasn't until he got to the colours he'd realised that he'd made a schoolboy error in not counting properly. And the difficult black, of course, he ended up losing that frame. So he's got into the interval there and be moaning about the fact that he should be 2-all, it's 3-1. Ronnie O'Sullivan will be very pleased with his work so far.
Frame 6. Mark Selby to break.
I always find it interesting to watch the break-offs with all the players, are different where they put the white. Some puts it between the yellow and brown, others between the green and brown, or closer to one of those colours. They all like to play it differently.
I think the key is really, I mean, you don't particularly want the ball to be tight behind a colour because you know they're just going to rest off a couple of cushions and rest in the pack. Obviously Ronnie was snookered on all balls there, so he had to play that. Much rather break off and leave them a safety shot off the pack to open reds.
And of course, at this stage of the tournament, the players, as we can see, you make one mistake now and you're losing the frame, whereas earlier in the tournament it isn't quite like that. You haven't warmed up properly. But like in any sport, it's not about how good you are, it's how many mistakes you don't make. It's not what you do make. Oh, well, that looked in. Mark Selby started to walk around there. It's the trouble if you get too close to the pocket, it'll stay there.
And he played at a pace, Terry, where normally they would come away from the pocket. I mean, I don't know, it's not gone in, to be honest, but Ronnie has played a poor shot.
1.
He's taking the green on, but the look of it into the middle. That's a bit cheeky.
4.
Needs a cue ball to slow down.
5.
He stroked that beautiful and it still went too far. Taking the blue on now. You wouldn't have done this early on. Oh, only just went in the middle of the pocket. Beautiful.
10.
Tell me one player that would have taken that on. Okay, it's 4-1 in front, which gives him a little bit of room, but
11.
boy, that was giving your opponent a chance to get back into the match should he have missed it. He just wants to get out for another Chinese, I think. He's had a few this week. I actually went in the same restaurant last night. I'm not going to mention their name because it's not fair to other restaurants, but Ronnie went in twice in the same day. He went for afternoon tea and went back in after the match.
Extension. Extension. Thanks. 18.
We know there's some great players left in the tournament that can beat O'Sullivan, but boy, he's in some sort of form this week, isn't he? He really is hitting the ball as sweet as I've seen him look, when you consider he doesn't play in many things now. And allegedly he talks about his exhibition play as practice. He even tried to say he talks his match, he'd rather have the match play practice for his exhibitions. The last night he was in the studio. He's just so mischievous, isn't he? You just never know what's going to happen next.
.34.
Well, this goes without saying after that wonderful pot on the blue. This is now a frame match winning situation. And Mark Selby has hardly done anything wrong in this match, and there's a chance that he could lose 5-1. He's missed, I think, 2 long balls. He's missed once when he's in the balls, and that's it. That's how good you've got to be to play this game. It's top class players are playing.
39.
No mistake snooker you've got to try and do.
40. .47. 48. 53.
Glance at the scoreboard just to find out exactly what he needs to get
54.
past the winning line. This will decide now whether he plays into the bunch or just plays for the loose red. Probably just play a slow cannon into the bunch. That's probably the end of the match.
59. .60. 67. 68.
Round of applause from the crowd. They know
75.
there's enough now for Ronnie O'Sullivan to win this three-man match.
76. 83. 84.
'Well, we Going to see the first 100 of this match. There's been a lot of big breaks
91.
and a few maximums possible. Didn't quite come off.
92.
But this isn't really the most important part
98.
of this break. It is the first shots he played. He took on a green in
99.
the centre, which is a tremendous shot, and then a long blue. All very risky.
105.
No, that's what the crowd think of it. An exhibition of break building from Ronnie
107.
O'Sullivan. Mark Selby's
110.
played worse than this and won 5-1 in matches, but he's been outclassed a bit today.
114.
As Willie said, a big frame, the fourth frame, when he miscounted to clear up. Mark Selby will regret that, or he has regretted it now, I'm sure, but he'll be thinking about that for a while.
119.
Moves the ball so easy around the table.
$125.
We'll take that. They're all clapping. What a wonderful match. Wonderful exhibition from Ronnie O'Sullivan. He beats the world #1 by 5 frames to 1.